After 16 years in recovery from sex addiction, I've learned that one of the most dangerous relapse triggers isn't what most people think. It's how we handle sexual advances. You know what I'm talking about, right? You're doing well in recovery, maybe it's been a few months or even a few years, then it happens. That coworker starts giving you that look, someone on your recovery meeting seems interested in you, you meet someone who you just, gets you. And suddenly you're right back there, your mind racing, your addiction voice getting louder, trying to figure out if they're really interested or if it's just your addiction mind playing tricks on you again. I see this all the time in my program. People are doing great in their recovery and they got their sobriety down. They're working on the program and then an unexpected attraction or advance comes along and it's like all the recovery work gets put to test in one instant. But here's what's interesting and what I've learned from helping hundreds of clients through this exact situation. The problem isn't actually the attraction itself. The real issue is that most people in recovery have never learned specific framework for handling these situations in a way that protects their sobriety and honors their recovery journey. In this video, I'm going to share with you the exact process I teach my clients for handling sexual advances while maintaining your recovery. I'll show you how to tell the difference between genuine connection and addiction-driven perception, and most importantly, how to make decisions that align with your recovery goals. And look, I know this might feel like walking a tightrope, trying to balance being a sexual being with maintaining your sexual sobriety, but I promise you, by the end of this video, you'll have a clear roadmap for navigating these situations with confidence. Here are the main points. 1. Understanding your sex ideal in recovery. One of the most powerful tools I use in my program is something I call your sex ideal. So let me break this down for you because it's really the foundation for everything else we're going to talk about. When you first come into recovery, you're usually dealing with all these different acting out behaviors, right? Maybe it was womanizing or escorts, pornography, compulsive masturbation, whatever your particular flavor of the addiction was. And in early recovery, you're mainly focused on just stopping those behaviors, just trying to stay sexually sober. But here's what I've learned in my 16 years of recovery, and what research actually confirms. Just stopping the behavior isn't enough. Studies show that nearly half of the recovering addicts report specific sexual problems interfering with their recovery if they don't have a clear framework for healthy sexuality. That's where your sex ideal comes in. In my program, we take clients through a deep process of self-reflection. We look at all the ways you acted out sexually, we examine the patterns, and then we do something crucial. We help you write out exactly how you want to be and how you want to proceed regarding sex now that you're in recovery. And what's fascinating is that when people really dig into this work, they usually come to a pretty similar conclusion. They want to be in a relationship with somebody they genuinely care about, where they're exclusively sexual with that person, where there's no flirting with others, no cheating, no secret behavior. They want something real, something authentic. Number 2, the reality check. What this means for single people in recovery. Here's where it gets real, especially if you're single in recovery. I need you to really hear this part because it's probably not what your addiction voice wants to hear. What this means is that you're not going to be able to get sex as much as you probably want as a sexual being. I know, not exactly what anyone wants to hear, right? But here's the thing. I've seen this play out hundreds of times with my clients. Waiting for the right person and the right situation is absolutely crucial for maintaining long-term recovery. Think about it this way. Studies indicate that emotional vulnerability is one of the biggest relapse triggers for recovering addicts. In fact, research shows that 81% of women and 69% of men in substance abuse treatment report histories of trauma that can make them particularly vulnerable to sexual advances. When we act out on every sexual opportunity that comes our way, we're not just risking our sobriety, we're potentially putting ourselves back into those same patterns that fed our addiction in the first place. Number 3, the 3-step framework for handling advances. So let's get practical. Here's the exact framework I teach my clients for handling sexual advances in recovery. I call it the pause, process, and protect method. Step 1. Pause the moment you feel that attraction or receive that advance. Your first move is to pause. This isn't about stopping, it's actually about creating space between the trigger and your response. Remember, one of the hallmarks of addiction was impulsive decision-making. Recovery is about breaking that pattern. Step 2, process. This is where you get really honest with yourself and ask yourself, is this my addiction voice or my authentic self speaking? Does this align with my sex ideal? Am I in a place emotionally where I can handle this kind of connection? Step 3, protect. This is where your support system comes in, and it's absolutely crucial in my program. Clients learn to stay connected with others in recovery so they can help hold them accountable and be honest. When you're faced with a situation where someone's advancing on you or you're interested in someone, you need to be in constant dialogue with your support network in order to be honest with yourself. Step 4, practical application. When it's okay and when it's not. Now let me be really clear about something, because I think it gets misunderstood a lot in recovery circle. There's nothing wrong with relationships in recovery. There's nothing wrong with sex in recovery. The key is being careful about and making sure your motives are pure. Let me give you a real example of one of my clients, with the details changed for privacy, obviously. Tom, been in recovery for about a year, and he met someone at work who seemed interested in him. Instead of acting impulsively like he would have in the past with his addiction, he brought it to his support group. Through honest discussion and self-reflection, he realized he was actually interested in the person for the right reasons, not just an escape or a quick fix. But here's the flip side with another client, Bob. Found himself attracted to someone in his recovery group. When he wanted and worked through our framework, he realized that his attraction was more about feeling lonely and vulnerable than genuine connection. By using the support system, being honest, he was able to avoid what could have been a major setback in his recovery. The key difference? One situation aligned with their sex ideal and recovery goals, while the other one was more about temporary emotional needs that could have led to relapse. So let me wrap this up with something really important, something I wish somebody had told me early in my recovery journey. Recovery isn't about becoming a monk or denying our sexuality. It's about learning to express it in healthy ways, authentic ways that support your healing rather than threaten it. The framework I've shared with you today, understanding your sex ideal, recognizing the reality of recovery, and using the pause, process, and protect method, these aren't just theories, they're practical tools that help hundreds of my clients navigate one of the trickiest aspects of recovery. Remember, every time you successfully handle a sexual advance in recovery that honors your recovery, you're not just avoiding relapse, you're actually strengthening your recovery muscles. You're proving to yourself that you can be attracted to someone or have someone be attracted to you without having to act out on that impulse. If you're watching this and feeling overwhelmed, or if you're struggling with these situations in your own recovery, know that you're not alone. This is exactly why having a strong support system and a clear framework is so crucial.